witty monologue ever. It was kind of what started the Cosby Show. And he said, my dad established our relationship early on. He said, oh, look, I brought you into this world. I can take you out of it. I'll make another one look just like you, so it doesn't matter to me. And I love that philosophy worked with my son. Because it is that guy pack mentality thing. It's like, look, you do what I say or I will make you do what I say. And guys are like, you got it. Girls, on the other hand, when they get angry, they don't care. Life, death, pain, dismemberment, there are no threats that work on an upset female. Which is why, if we have anybody in the military, there's a reason why women have never been frontline troops.
Until now.
Until now.
Scary on the front line.
But you know why? It's not because they couldn't pass the physical, because basic frontline groups, that's different than special ops. Okay? Women in combat are uncontrollable once the battle lines are crossed. It's actually in the Army training manual for the Ranger program. You don't put women in frontline troops because once the battle lines are crossed, you don't listen anymore. That red blood mist haze, and all you know is they need dismembered. And I'm married to that.
A machine gun.
No, bad. All right. Okay.
She has a sword. You are brave.
Ask him what he got me for Valentine's Day.
No, you know, most guys, you think Valentine's Day, yay, chocolate, flowers, a movie, romantic dinner, that kind of thing. Yeah. I got her a pump 12 gauge for Valentine's Day. Because she said that's what she wanted and I was too afraid to say no. After I gave it to her and she went, I realized I screwed up because all I did was extend her reach.
You bought ammo too?
No, she already had that. After our first public demonstration in our hometown, her parents came up. Dad laughed at me, shook my hand, walked off. Mom came up, shook my hand, and she hadn't really liked me very much. She came up, smiled at me, and said, "You are the bravest man I've ever met." And I'm like, "Oh, you mean for dating your daughter? That's funny, I'm going to remember that." And she said, "No, you let her cut with a real sword." I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course I did. She's put in the training. She nailed her cuts and went really well." And she said, "You do not understand. We didn't let her use a steak knife at the table at home." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." I looked over and she was making that pouty bat face. And I'm like, "Oh my God, it was true?" She had her driver's license before they let her use a steak knife at the table at home. And I don't think, in fairness to her, it wasn't because she wasn't competent to use a blade. It was that she had two older sisters who tortured her, and they didn't trust her impulse control. In fairness, how many of you ever played hide and seek? Have you ever played Treasure Island? Her sisters combined that by tearing all the heads off of her Barbie dolls and burying them around the house or around the yard. So they played hide and seek with her doll heads.
And still brag about it.
You
They're
wonder
scared
why
of me
they're
now.
afraid of
I'm scared of you now.
you. Why do you think I wear a head wrap? It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm bald. You guys already know that. So I'm not trying to hide anything, but part of our stage show involves her leaving a metal blade over my head. And twice, she has been angry enough at me, and I have no idea why. She's actually gone whack and hit me on the head. Has anybody ever had a scalp wound? They don't necessarily hurt, but they bleed.
Massively.
And it's halfway through our show, and she goes whack, and I have blood dripping down my forehead and off the end of my nose and I can't stop. It's our show. After the show, people coming up, I'm signing things. A college girl comes up, she says, "Hey, I saw your show yesterday. When did you add special effects?" I'm like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just corn syrup and red food dye. Here, try some." And my wife's over there going, and the girl goes, "Ew, no thanks." And inside I'm going, "Thank God, because that's a lawsuit our insurance provider would not understand." Same idea, trying to feed his blood to a college girl.
So you haven't learned to put another plate underneath that.
I'm not saying I have or haven't. You don't know. This could be Iron Man.
That sounded like a challenge.
I'm sorry.
Thanks! already assigned me.
Oh.
All right, on with our show. For those of you who haven't figured out yet, I'm Samurai Dan. This is my lovely wife, Jillian, and we know nothing about anime. And I'm too old to learn, so please don't try to fix this problem. But we go around the country and perform at anime conventions because anime borrows heavily from the samurai culture. And I've only seen one anime in my life. And everybody wants it. What was it? And as soon as I say it, it's never on anybody's list of, you gotta watch this. And as soon as I say the anime, you all go, yeah, that one. Because if you wanted to sum up anime to a parent, you're not going to go with any of the stuff you watch late at night when no one's home. But I had a friend made me watch Spirited Away. And when I watched that, it was awesome. I hated the little girl. I wanted to slap her. And that was kind of the point. And as the show went on, she learned all these valuable lessons, and at the end it was wonderful. But I was so impressed with the architecture, the buildings. They really nailed the Japanese architecture and the concepts, the damashi, the warrior spirit, and all the other things that they borrowed from samurai culture. We get hired by anime cons to do martial arts exhibitions and show you sharp, shiny, pointy things. And every once in a while I'll make a wildly inappropriate joke because at anime cons, those are popular. Public schools, it gets me kicked out. But we're going to give you a brief introduction to the samurai way of life. Because for the samurai, their lifestyle, being a warrior, was different than being a warrior in some of the other cultures where the sword was considered a tool. It was left off to the side. When you needed it, you picked it up, you defended the homeland, and then you put it aside again, went back to farming. The samurai were the nobility of feudal Japan, and what that meant was they had peons to do the work for them. And they devoted themselves to the martial sciences as a profession. And it didn't start when they got out of high school at age 18 for the samurai, because it was a caste system. It means if daddy's a samurai, you're going to be a samurai. Your children are going to be samurai, whether they're capable of it or not. But for the samurai, they started young. At age 4, Japanese children were given a stick and told to go play with their brothers. This is parenting by natural selection.